So I took a break for a couple of weeks, but right before I went to Vieques for 8 nights with the wife. Was just relax, and I'll talk about it later. But in general, it's beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful beaches. The hotel we stayed at had a great pool with a great view. We stayed at the Hacienda Tamarindo, so it was good. The only disappointment was that, like, I'm such a big foodie, and between me and my wife, even in Montclair, where it's known, Mount New York, anywhere, the food we make most of the time is better than most places you go to, unless you really really have to know where you're going. By trial and error for us to really be excited to go out and eat a meal. We can't make home. Even desserts, my wife makes desserts. So I would say the food was average. It was hard for a week, even though there were a lot of different places to eat. But before that, before I get into that, I played at Parks the night before, it was a couple of weeks ago, on a Friday afternoon. I still haven't won or cashed at Parks. I'm gonna keep trying until it works out. It's either I had a great vacation or starting to lose my mind because I don't remember any of the hands. I just know I did not last too long, maybe levels 5, somewhere in that range, and I was getting playable cards for the most part. I was just losing, I had 80% chance of winning a hand, and I would lose. So that was just one of those days. So we didn't take a boat out to see the bioluminescence bay. From where we were, you could kind of see it a little bit. And my wife's not a big fan of going out on boats. So yeah, we settled for watching it from afar. But we visited pretty much, not every beach, but almost all the beaches we went to. In terms of spending time, we spent some time at Sunday Beach and Caracas Beach. The other ones kind of was either in and out, or we drove by it and kind of took some pictures. We drove the whole island pretty much, and where we stayed was very close to Esperanza, which is a huge tourist spot. But September is always kind of slightly off season, so some of the places are closed. We ate at Duffy's, we ate at Bananas, and then in the midtown part or whatever, the other side of the island, Isabel too. We went to Casa Nativo, it had good food, and Mamma Mia. When I say good, we can eat it, but like I mentioned before, the food is average to slightly above average. I'm assuming Puerto Rico is not known for food, even though Vieques is seemed a little different. The empanada was good. It's hard to find them. In terms of supermarket, we found this hoodie-looking supermarket. We walked in. It was amazing because it was big and they had everything. I'm getting to be a lightweight because 8+ days, and I could barely finish 3 6-packs and a 4-pack. The whole time, even hanging out poolside beach wherever we went. But Puerto Rico does have its own brewery called, I guess it's Ocean IPA. So I had that a couple of times at the airport, and the beer selection wasn't bad at this place. We got, we loaded up with water for the week. We ended up going a couple more times. Got some snacks. I'm not a chip guy, but my wife eats chips, and we got some Pepperidge Farm Milano cookies. So it was a pretty good trip. So we had to wait an hour for our small flight.
35 minutes flying time. It is a bit bumpy today, might have some rain. I'll try to keep it as smooth as possible for you. Quick safety briefing before we get going. 3 exits on board the aircraft, the one that you came through from the back, one off to the right.
It's a ridiculously small plane. It was literally not bigger than my car. It was a little bit longer, but not as wide. It was amazing. But the pilot was really good. Smooth landing. The plane wasn't that high. It felt like even if something went wrong, he could just glide it down and into the water. Pretty much flying over the water for like 24 minutes. Yeah, so it wasn't too nerve-wracking. And when we got there, I'd rented a Jeep for the week, so just had to, give him a call. And then guy showed up like 10 minutes, gave us a pretty new Jeep. And this was a view from the room, just like literally right on the ocean. And the amazing thing about Vieques is all the wild horses. There are literally horses everywhere. Baby horses, they're on the road. You have to watch out for, dog, for horse poop, but it didn't smell for some reason. The other thing I saw a lot of was the chicken. Esperanza was beautiful. It was right on the water. We had dinner there a few times. We drove down. It was a 2-minute drive. We could have walked, but what's the point of having a car? And the pool was lit at night. And first night, it was so clear. You could see the Milky Way. I watched football poolside on my iPad the whole day. The next morning, go down to the beach. The only beach where you had to pay for parking was Bay Beach. It was like $4. Yeah, and the horses wouldn't get out of the way on the road.
Oh my God, they're not moving.
I don't think I can get around.
Is she pregnant too?
Yeah, literally. I think they were asleep. I'm not sure. And I had to drive around on the street. But it's beautiful. The first day we went to Sunday Beach, we walked to the right instead of it's not where people go to. And eventually we reached places where it looked like people were living. And we turned around and went back because what's the point? But it was beautiful, beautiful. We had one day of rain. The rest of the time it was sunny, or if it rained, it was like brief, like not even 2 minutes. And driving the roads there's not a lot of roads to begin with, but the roads there are, it's barely a 2-car lane, even though there's no dividers. Like literally, 2 cars couldn't drive past each other unless they're like excellent drivers. You kind of had to either pull to the side or be off-road for briefly. So we spend a lot of time at the hotel, especially the pool. It's pretty much a private pool, and there are a couple of guests used it here and there, but there weren't that many guests to begin with. Most people just stayed a couple of nights or a night, and we were there for over a week, so we got to see a lot of people come and go, and the staff got used to us, but it's definitely a beautiful place. We wanted to get bored, just relax and rest, eat, drink, swim. That was pretty much it for the length of the vacation, and it was good. Would we do it again? I don't know. Maybe we'll try someplace new, more exotic or different places in terms of our, customary September, the real vacation. And I had been to Puerto Rico, a few times before, so it wasn't. Even my wife got married. We'd gone. We stayed at San Juan for a week. I don't know if it still exists. But we stayed at the water club. Had a car, so we drove, the island there to, the rainforest. I believe I drove to the other side of the island. Had some lunches. Visited Old San Juan. I remember there's some Brazilian pizza place we went to. It had like 50 different flavors, toppings, but it's hard to get pizza outside of New York. So it was pretty much a very, very chill and relaxing time. Like I said, the food, I wish, there was, more, at least 1 or 2 high-end food. By that I mean something delicious, not necessarily like, there's a lot of seafood, and neither one of us is a big seafood. But I had fish and chips once, but yes, the hotel had breakfast every morning for us before we left. A full breakfast. You got a fruit, you got some kind of fruit juice, you got your bacon, the sausage, your choice, and they had a special every other day. And we saw some dogs. We didn't see a single dog on a leash. They didn't seem like they were stray dogs. They looked clean, but I think just people just let them be loose. Same thing with chicken. You're like chicken everywhere. Between the chicken and the horses, I think there might have been more horses than chicken, but yeah.
Impressive that you're able to swim all the way across. Now you're just showing off. Definitely a lot of selfies taken. We wanted to, show the progress of our smiles getting bigger, skin shining, more and more by the day. I was surprised there weren't more gardens or fruits, because things would grow year-round. I'm sure there probably were some, and a good portion of the island is kind of like restricted. An old military and supposedly there's some unexploded ordinances and people not allowed to go in, and fences. But a lot of the beaches, like, you drive down, pull up by the side, and follow a little path and you're at the beach, and almost all of them were, for the most part, felt like they're just private beaches. The beach itself was not long, pretty narrow strips of sand. We went by Black Sand Beach. We went drove past Rum Factory. We were trying to find us some lighthouse. From the map, it looked like, we almost got there. It looked like we were there, but there was literally no clear path to drive to get there. And the pictures looked like it was like abandoned or in ruins. So we just, said, why bother?
You want me to?
But he drove the whole island a couple of times, and then even the drives were beautiful, especially by the water. You go to the left of the airport as opposed to going right in the way you would to either Esperanza or Isabel too. We drove this to the end, and then on the way back we cut through the mountains. Literally, we didn't see a single car. There's no way if a car came that 2 cars would have been able to pass,
because the vegetation was thick on both sides.
Hey guys.
Horses.
Yeah, so, but we didn't see anyone. Eventually got to an area where there was some, looked like pretty big properties up on the mountains.
You know, you're in the deep end, right?
Yeah, it was literally like a private pool most of the time. That's shockingly enough. One end is like 8 feet deep, and no lifeguard ever. The sign just said "Don't drown." It was one of the items that was restricted. Yeah, but it was good. I mean, I'm a pretty strong swimmer, and yeah, my wife, I was keeping an eye on her, and she could swim too. She got more and more comfortable. Felt like a kid, I guess. But yeah, it was a great fun. The ride back, the way back from Vieques to San Juan, it was a slightly bigger plane, about 7 people on there. 2 or 3 more people could have sat on it. It was at least twice the size of the first one. But San Juan Airport was not a great experience. Even the flight back was not a great experience. I sprung for business class, first class, which really isn't worth it because it felt like we were both sitting apart because you have your own space. You could like sleep. I'm assuming it's for people who want to work in a workstation. And the Wi-Fi is always in and out. Just the service wasn't there, wasn't good, and usually going to Vegas and back, I'm so used to being treated so well. But for some reason, between the airport and the airport, they wanted to put my bag to the thing like twice. First of all, we have TSA pre-check, and on top of that, there's nothing in my bag ever. So he delayed me like 10-15 minutes. They run it through a couple of times. They open it and look, and they were like, okay, now it's good to go. Like there's no explanation whatsoever. And the service on the plane was shockingly pretty much not there. Like I mentioned, we don't most places they're definitely not eating airplane food. But I wanted to have a couple of beers, watching them. We're flying back on Sunday. The game on for the most part when the Wi-Fi was working. And not only was the flight delayed without an explanation, the pilot comes out to say like, "Oh yeah, we had some mechanical issues fixed. Now we're waiting for the paperwork to print before we can take off." And like another hour. It's like it just seemed like a made-up excuse. And the plane had landed hours earlier, so whatever it is that they had to fix, they could have fixed it. I mean, we were just going home, so it didn't matter. But people that had connected flights, I'm sure, were super annoyed. But the plane right itself, I mean, the plane is fine. I love it. You fly United most of the time. And United is good. It's just this time it just felt like I don't know, just not the best of service. Literally, I had to ask for a second beer, and then after that I was done. I didn't even bother getting anything else or asking for anything else. They didn't even bother asking me, so it didn't matter. But it was fun. I had a good time. I got there and back safely. Tried to record some from a small plane. It wasn't super small. It was, relatively small. Flying on San Juan to the airport. Shocking seeing that, of course, because I think the entire time we're in Vieques, we didn't see anything, of course, that. And there was a delivery guy, I'm assuming he's delivering food. We just have his headphones in, and you see him walking up and down the street. I mean, this isn't even, not inner city blocks. This is like you're walking on a road, driving where people drive to. Normally, you would think you'd at least have a bike, but that wasn't it. No.
So this week is back to the grind. Back to work, and maybe this weekend we'll finally get to play a tournament. I'm shooting for another trip to Parks, which, like I said, eventually I'm gonna have to win something there. I think I'm like 0 for 8, 0 for 9 lifetime, which is unusual because typically cash at a decent rate, a quarter to a third of the time. And it's getting to be like a large enough a sample that it's got to turn around soon enough.